This is John Kohler at DiscountJuicers.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you, and where we are at in the world right now. We're in Baltimore, Maryland at the Natural Products Expo East. This is the second largest health food convention for wholesalers, for owners of retail stores to learn about all the latest and greatest products. And why I'm here today for you guys, actually to share with you guys two of my favorite Tribest slow juicers. Now, there's many juicers on the market. If you're shopping for a juicer right now, I always recommend and encourage you guys to get the slow juicers. They run at low RPMs. They're going to preserve the most nutrition, and they're going to also be most effective at juicing some of the most important things, including the leafy greens and the hard vegetables that people simply just do not eat enough of. So anyways, next what we want to do is go into the talk that I gave here, a presentation at the Natural Products Expo East. All right, hello everybody. My name is John Kohler, and today I'll be talking about two of my favorite Tribest products. These are the juicers. Tribest makes healthy living easy by allowing you to get more fresh fruits and fresh vegetables in your diet. I mean, this is the Natural Products Expo East, where this is supposed to be about health foods, and to me, in my opinion, this is about the business of health. And a lot of the products here may not necessarily be all that healthy, in my opinion. Some of the products that are healthy to buy and use are these guys, because the healthiest foods on the planet, hands down, are not superfoods and not vitamins and mineral supplements, but they're foods found in nature. They're the fruits and the vegetables grown in the highest quality soil, organic, you know, if you can get that, homegrown, and then you want to be able to get these foods into you. But the problem is, in this day and age, everybody's really rushed. They're busy, they don't have enough time to eat 2 pounds of kale, so they want to take a little kale supplement that has 1 pound of kale in a little small thing. But that's not the answer either. The answer is we want to get these foods with their full water content. You know, the kale is best chewed up raw, but people aren't going to sit there and chew for 2 hours, and that's why the juicers simply break down the food for you, make it more bioavailable, better than any tablet, powder, or supplement you could get. And it's best if you grow it at your house. You can literally pick the kale, it's still living as you pick it, you take it inside, you put it through your juicer, you get literally the best food that's on the planet, the juice, it's taking out the fiber. I mean, one of the things that people do not realize that we are nothing more or less than juice extractors. We eat food, right? And it goes inside of us, and hopefully you're chewing it in too much. That's why we're given these teeth here, and that's why we feed babies baby food, because they do not have the teeth to break down the food. And we make it into a mush, and it goes through our digestive system, and out one end, right, the back end, comes the fiber, and the front end comes the liquid, and we take out what we need. Well, the juicer is simply doing this. You're putting in the whole food in there. It's separating out the liquid, which now our body can extract the nutrients from very easily. And in this day and age, from what I've seen, including my parents have digestive issues, and if you're having digestive issues, it's hard to get the nutrition out of your food, and the easiest way to do that is put the food into a liquid state in the fresh juices that I'm going to demonstrate today. And that's why I'm so passionate about juicers. Juicers, in my opinion, are much more powerful than blenders. I know you may have seen other infomercials on things on TV about the different blenders and whatnot, where you take the whole juice and get the fiber and all. But the fiber, while it is required in our bodies, I believe it can be a hindrance, especially if you have a compromised digestive system. And that's why juicing is some of the methods that is used at some of these different centers around the world, where they take people, the incurables, and they basically feed them fresh juices and some other modalities, and they heal from things like cancer. I've met people that have healed themselves from cancer on juices. I've met very few people that have actually have met few people that have healed themselves off blended green smoothies, because when you keeping the fiber in, it gives your body more to work on. It takes more energy for your body to get the nutrients out of them. And I'm not saying don't eat fiber-rich foods. I like to have a juice or 2 a day, and then also I drink smoothies as well. But I also eat plenty of fresh fruits and fresh vegetables and other plant foods that have fiber. If you're complaining about fiber and you're still eating animal products, meats, eggs, dairy, and processed foods, you know, those foods have very little fiber, and that's why, you know, I like the juicing. And even when you juice, there's still some fiber within the juice, and some juicers leave more fiber than others. Today I'll be talking about the Green Star Elite Juicer, and this is probably the Cadillac of juicers. This gets probably the highest yield. We'll get the driest pulp. It's specifically good on things that I'll be juicing in it today, like right here. This is the ideal combination to juice in the Green Star Elite. Of course, we got the carrots. Carrots are high in the beta carotene, other carotenoids, phytochemicals, and phytonutrients. Of course, for some extra water content, we got some cucumbers. I like them a lot. The celery, really rich in electrolytes, and of course, we cannot leave out the leafy greens. Leafy greens are probably one of the most important foods on the planet. They're the most nutrient dense. They have the most amount of nutrients with the least amount of calories, and most Americans out there are eating calorie dense foods that are very low in nutrition. Fast food comes to mind when you think of high calories and low nutrients, and what this causes, we know what this causes. This causes overweight, obesity, you know, and ill health, and eating lots of greens and nutrient dense foods like the fruits and vegetables, in my opinion, and from my literally 20 years of experience now, will cause you to have great health if that's what you want. But yeah, so this is a really optimized recipe for the Green Star Elite. Going to work really well. Over on this side, we have the Slowstar juicer. This is a vertical single auger juicer. Each of these juicers have their pros and cons, and for me to say this one's better than that one, it'd be really difficult. I mean, for the right person, this one could be a better juicer, and for the right person, this one's gonna be a better juicer. I own both these juicers in my home, and the one that I choose to use the most actually is the Slowstar, or the vertical style, simply because this one, you know, it takes a little bit longer to use. You're gonna see that when I'm using it. You gotta push the produce in. It gets the pulp drier, which is definitely a benefit, and probably extracts more nutrition out of it, which is especially important. Like if I was sick and had some kind of disease, I would not waste any time. I would get this, invest the time to get the most nutritious juice to give my body every extra possible advantage you could get to let my body heal. This one, to me, is a lot quicker and easier to use. You literally drop things in. It's self-feeding. You really don't need to use a pusher. If you use a pusher in one of these vertical style machines, you know, you're probably doing it wrong, because this one you do need to pre-cut some of the produce before you put in there to work optimally. But when you do, it just auto feeds, and it just works very simply and easily. Also, to me, this one's self-cleaning. Now, another thing I'm not gonna, you know, really go into details in this episode is, you know, besides juicing these juicers, I like to process foods in other ways. So, for example, the Slowstar includes this what's called mincing or homogenizing attachment, which will allow you to take frozen bananas or other frozen fruits, drop it through here. It'll basically grind it up and come out like a frozen yogurt consistency. So this is very valuable if you're trying to, you know, get off ice cream and dairy products, which many people have lactose intolerance, and you know, there's a lot of additives and that stuff. And once again, you're just getting more fruits in you in the form of frozen fruits. Also, if you're trying to get off meats and heavier foods, you know, one of the cool things I like to do is make my own nut butters that's chemical-free, additive-free, BHA, BHT-free, you know, corn syrup-free. You can just literally take nuts through here, take some roasted peanuts through here. You'll make your own peanut butter. I've made salsas in here. I've even made mock chicken using eggplants out of my garden through this attachment here, so it's very versatile. In addition, the Green Star Elite also has an attachment to process things much like the Slowstar. Now in the Slowstar, you know, while this will juice the items that I'm juicing in the Green Star today, actually in my opinion it's a much better juicer for juicing the fruits. The Green Star will also juice the fruits, but the Slowstar does it better, much like, you know, the Green Star will juice the vegetables a bit better than the Slowstar, although the Slowstar will do it as well. And you know, because of the time constraints in my life, I'm a busy guy, I like to use a Slowstar, and I pretty much use it for most everything I need to juice. And so when you're choosing to buy a juicer, you want to get the one that's best going to meet your needs. So anyways, let's get into this demo. We're going to go ahead and start with the Green Star Elite. I like this because it runs at a low, under 150 RPMs. It has 2 gears, literally grinds the produce up and extracts the most juice out of it. Let me go ahead and show you the technology and actually how it works. It's very simple and easy to disassemble. There's 2 little snaps here. This is the juicing screen, and then we have a 3-stage gearing system here, unique on this machine, unlike any other machine. First, you put the produce in there. It's like 2 transmissions in a car. It basically grinds up the produce. This next section here in this plastic, it's kind of rounded. It's a mixing stage, kind of like emulating the Norwalk juicer that costs 5 times more than this machine. And then finally, we have the pressing stage where it presses out the juice all at low RPMs, and creates a really high quality juice from the testing I've seen. The one main thing you're going to remember with this machine is that there's some dots on the back of the gears. You're going to want to line up these dots to make a little pyramid or triangle on the back, and then you're just going to go ahead and insert these gears into the machine. We're going to go ahead and put the screen on, and finally the outlet cap. Now, the cool thing about this outlet cap, you know, there is a little bit of a learning curve on this machine. You're going to have to take this little outlet adjusting knob here, which has a spring tensioner on here. So this keeps the produce and the pulp inside the machine the longest and only lets it out once it gets dry. So this ensures you're gonna have the highest yield. So it's very important if you're juicing things like carrots, beets, you're gonna wanna screw this all the way in. If you're juicing something like fruits, you're gonna have to take some of the back pressure off. It's gonna clog up too much. So we're gonna go ahead and install that on there and close this guy up. And next we're just gonna go ahead and start juicing. We're gonna turn this machine on. And one of the things I like about this machine is that it's actually very quiet. So we can take a carrot here and just put the carrot in there. And it's just a very simple and easy to push the carrot in. I can just literally do it with one finger. Now this is a thin diameter carrot. The fatter diameter carrot will take more downward pressure to push into the machine. And sometimes if this is difficult for you, if you have the machine on a lower surface like a table, you can get more leverage on it. You know, once again, I'm using my whole hand to push this in. A little bit more difficult. Now one of the coolest things I like to juice in the GreenStar Elite are the leafy greens. And let's see if we got a nice leafy green here. This one's fairly large, and on these guys you can literally just put it in, and if you put it in at some point, it'll almost just literally suck itself in there. Oh, there it is. Got sucked in. And you know, this machine, as the pulp's coming out, this pulp's super dry. I can take this pulp and squeeze it, and there's like no juice dripping out of my hand. Super dry. I can't say the same for the Slowstar. It's gonna be more wet, but once again, this machine is a premium machine. It's gonna cost you more money. And you know, the Slowstar a little bit more fast and efficient, and it's going to save you a little bit more time, but this one definitely gets the produce the driest. And many juicers have challenges with juicing things like the celery here, and that's because of these large fibrous strings here. These are the fibrous strings that get stuck in your teeth. They also will clog up many juicers, like vertical juicers like that, but these are the strings are not a problem for the GreenStar Elite twin gear juicer. Literally, we're going to go ahead and put that in, kind of actually get sucked in there. And in a minute, we're going to actually see some of the celery fibers that are actually just getting chopped up into little small pieces. I mean, the GreenStar is really efficient at extracting all the nutrients out of the different produce items you're putting in there. It has these what's called pocket recessed teeth that job in the juicers to chop up all the fibers so you get the maximum amount of extraction. Let's go ahead and put a little bit more celery in there. Now, for a minute, let's go ahead and talk about juice recipes. You know, I want to encourage you guys to not make juices with any juice recipes, but come up with your own recipes, you know, based on what you have and you have available in your garden. So like if you're gardening, you're going to juice always what's seasonal in your garden. And I believe we should eat seasonally. And when juicing, like in the winter time, like I'm really not using cucumbers because I don't have any cucumbers in my garden, but in the summertime, I'm pretty much mostly juicing cucumbers because I got a bumper load of cucumbers in my garden. So in the winter time, I might use something like carrots would be in season in my garden. I might also use some celery and some leafy greens, and also apples. I'd use that in my recipe. In the summertime, I might do a cucumber base with a little bit of celery because celery grows all year for me. And then, you know, of course, some leafy greens. Now, when making recipes, I always encourage you guys to have 5 ingredients or less. This is very important. You know, I've made many different recipes that includes everything but the kitchen sink, everything, all the produce I have left in my fridge because it's going to go bad or I'm going to juice it, and it's tasted really horrible and really not so good. And I don't want that to happen to you guys. So my main formula for creating a juice is super simple. You're going to want to have what's called a juice base. The juice base could be one of these ingredients, such as carrots, celery, cucumbers, romaine leaf hearts, zucchini, and apples. And so that's going to make up like 75% of your juice, and then the remaining 25% of the juice could be something like the leafy greens. This will ensure that you always have pretty mellow juices, because if you try to like make leafy greens 75% of your juice and, you know, a little bit of the other stuff, it's going to taste horrible. This is especially important if you're new into juicing and you haven't juiced before. You're going to want to really go light on the leafy greens at first, and so you accept it so that it doesn't taste really gross to you. And slowly, after you get used to leafy greens, just increase them. So maybe you only got to start with 1 leafy green when you start juicing, right? And do that for a week. Oh yeah, I can handle that. That tastes good. And then go up to 2 leaves, right? Yeah, 2 leaves is not a lot. I juice usually 1 pound of leaves in 1 sitting. But you'll get there eventually if you want, if that's what you want to do. But yeah, here we go, the kale. And another thing important when using the Greenstar any juicer is to rotate the produce you're putting into the machine. You don't want to just put all the kale, then all the carrots, and then all the cucumber. What I try to do is I try to like rotate the items. So I try to put the softest item in first. So for example, I'd put the kale in first, then I'd follow it with some cucumbers, then I'd follow it with some celery, and then follow it by some carrots. So I always try to rotate when I'm putting through. Every juicer is always going to work better in this way because some juicers tend to clog the machine up. Some produce items tend to clog the machines up more than others. Carrots and the celery and the Greenstar Elite tend to you know, clean it out a little bit so it works more efficiently. So we're going to go ahead once again and drop a carrot in there. Then we got another piece of celery, and then finally some more cucumber to juice. And this is actually working quite well. Oh yeah, I want to show you guys that celery here coming out. I mean, literally the celery, here's one of the little fibers that was chewed up. I mean, all you see left is just a little celery fiber, and that's a large one. I mean, all through here, there's just small little fibers of celery. Once again, we could squeeze this, and I mean, we're just seeing sawdust come off this stuff, man. This stuff for me is just good for compost. It's just too dry to do anything else with. Let's go ahead and put in that final piece of celery in here. Now, I definitely want to encourage everybody out there to drink their vegetable juices. I mean, vegetables are the most under-eaten foods on the planet, in my opinion. I mean, they say to get 5 to 9 servings of fresh fruits and vegetables a day. I try to get like 10 servings of just vegetables a day myself. And I mean, here we go. It made in the Greenstar Elite Juicer. A nice, rich and easy to drink carrot, cucumber, celery, and kale juice. Who'd like to try some? All right, so yes, this machine is definitely the best for the vegetables, hands down. Next, we're going to go to get into the demonstration of the Slowstar juicer, which will also juice these vegetables. It will not make the pulp as dry. It's going to work a little bit quicker. But the other thing you need to know is if you do get a Slowstar or any vertical juicer, the celery, if you put that in whole, it's going to clog it up. The Slowstar works better than other vertical juicers on celery, but I recommend pre-cutting your celery into 1/8-inch pieces, you know, to get the optimal result so that it does not clog. If this bothers you, then get the Greenstar because it grinds it all up without you having to pre-cut it. In addition, something like the kale should also be pre-cut in the Slowstar to work properly. So that's why I'm gonna use it to juice some fruits today. I love fruits. Fruits are relatively easy to eat. One of the things I don't like about, especially pineapples, is that they always tend to burn your mouth when you eat them, and that's because there's an enzyme in there called the bromelain, and that basically enzyme breaks down the proteins on your tongue when you're eating it. And I found that when I juice it, that removes the whole problem, so it doesn't burn your tongue any longer. So to juice the pineapple, we're just going to go ahead and take off all the skin. Now, if this was an organic pineapple, you could juice the skin, but also be aware that when you juice the skin of anything, if it is juiceable, it'll change the taste. So one of the things I actually like to juice a lot is organic watermelon, and I'll juice the skin and all of the watermelon. The skin of the watermelon actually contains lots of chlorophyll, which is also, you know, rich in the leafy greens, and the most of the nutrition in the watermelon, guess where it is? Just like the apple. It's near the skin, and most people don't eat watermelon skin too often, but with the juicer you can juice it. Another thing I like, some of the, you know, better juicers such as the Greenstar Elite anyways, when you're juicing the watermelon, it literally crushes and grinds the seeds up and gets some of the fatty acids or the fats out of the seeds into your juice, which is also very beneficial for us. Some of the other juicers like the Slowstar, not quite as good on the grinding, and it's not going to grind up the seeds. It might just spit them out whole actually. So, you know, a better juicer is going to be more effective at extracting all the juice and all the nutrients out of the different produce items. So as you guys can see on this pineapple, we simply topped it out and basically cut off all the skin. And so now we're pretty much ready to juice. Now the hardest part to juice on any pineapple is the pineapple core. This should be pre-cut into little small bits before putting in, otherwise it will clog the juicer. So I'm just gonna go ahead and cut this up and show you guys the core and what I'm gonna do to it. Cut it like a tic-tac-toe pattern down the top. We have the core in the middle here. And we're gonna go ahead and cut this into long strips. And once we got these small strips here, we're going to go ahead and then cut the strips the other direction and make long like matchsticks out of them. So now we got these long matchsticks. Now we want to chop these matchsticks up this direction to really cut up that fiber, because this fiber, once again, will get jammed on the outlet port on the Slowstar. All right, so you guys can see what we have here. We just have little bits of pineapple. Now this is much better to juice. So the goal is we're going to go ahead and juice pieces of the pineapple here, cut up into smaller pieces, and then a little bit of the core pieces. That'll keep this juicer flowing and working properly with pineapple. So you can see I kept a lot of the white pith here on the orange. So I guess next we're going to go ahead and make an orange pineapple juice. Super simple, super easy. Works great in the Slowstar, and this is one of my natural juice remedies that I like to use when I have a sore throat. Think I'm going to get a cold, maybe have a cold going. This really will give you a blast of vitamin C and all the enzymes in the pineapple that I get better usually within a day or two. So simply we're going to go ahead and take segments of oranges and pieces of pineapple. So I like to put in the pineapple first and follow it with the orange piece. That's going to really help push through that pineapple. And once again, we're going to go ahead and rotate, putting in pieces of pineapple and pieces of orange there. After we do a couple pieces of pineapple, a couple pieces of orange, then we're going to go ahead and take some of these shreds of the core there, and that'll really help start pushing the pulp out. As you guys can see, the juicer simply extracting all the delicious, rich juice, which is 100% water content with the nutrients added. And I want to stop there for a second. I mean, one of the reasons why juicing is so important to me is because this is a water-rich food, right? It's literally nutrients plus the water. Our bodies are 70 to 75% water, and most foods that you're eating and most cooked foods their water's cooked away, and it dehydrates you. And many challenges in health, in my opinion, can simply be overcome by dehydration. And there was actually a book written on this called The Body's Many Cries for Water. My favorite kind of water is water filtered, not by any kind of filtration system or bottled water, but it's literally filtered by the plant. It's plant water, it's living water, but more importantly, it has all the different phytochemicals, phytonutrients, vitamins, and minerals in its whole natural package that comes along with it. And the juicer's allowing me to access this really easy, really quickly, especially if you're on the go. And I want to talk about that for a second too. I always recommend you guys make your juices and drink it right after you make it for the highest level of benefit. I understand many of you guys have to go to work and you can't have a juicer with you at work and juice every time you need to make it. I would recommend that if you are able to have a juicer in your break room or whatnot and juice at work to get the highest level, and so that you don't have to store your juices. Especially if you make apple juice, you'll know what I'm talking about. You can make apple juice today and let it sit on the counter for just a few hours. It'll turn brown. That's the oxidation occurring. Now, oxidation occurs with all juices once you extract the fiber, because it's the fiber that literally protects the nutrients inside there. And when we remove the fiber, the juice can break down quicker. And the thing I want to say about that is actually, if you do need to store your juices, in my opinion, the Green Star Elite Juicer is the best juicer on the planet to store your juices. They do have a 72-hour stability study. I know of no other test that anybody's done with storing juices for this period of time. Other companies claim you could store your juices for 3 days with our juicer, but I've repeatedly asked them for the documentation to prove this, and they said, oh, the other company did the research on this, so we're just using it because ours is another slow juicer. So I don't know about that, but I would trust the Green Star Elite to store your juice and to have the most nutrition in there. Let's go ahead and continue to keep juicing some of this pineapple and some of these oranges. This is definitely one of my favorite juices to drink. So I did want to announce anybody here in the audience, they will be giving away a $550 retail value Green Star Elite juicer today. For those of you guys in attendance, you guys need to fill out this form, drop it in this little glass here, and you need to be present to win, right? If you're not present to win, you're not going to win. And yeah, amazing deal. You guys are online watching this, are missing out. $500 juicer given away free, and you're going to have really good odds, because guess what? Most people filling it out right now are not going to show up at 5. So you probably have about 1 in 30 chance to win a $500 juicer. So yeah, we'll pass this out to you guys. All right, so we're continuing to juice here. Once again, the pineapple and the oranges, really simple, real easy. As you guys noticed, when I juiced in the Green Star Elite, I had to use this pusher to push everything down in there. With this, I literally drop the pieces in and literally get sucked in by the machine and spits out my delicious juice. So yeah, so the things you've learned hopefully today with my demonstration is that fruits and vegetables are by far the best foods on the entire planet to eat. Tribest makes that easy. They make healthy living easy by all their different products allow you to process fruits and vegetables in the least damaging ways, such as the juicing, the blending, the dehydration, literally just slicing so you can get the nutrients in you. The juicing to me is definitely by far more powerful than the blending because it removes the fiber and it's easier to digest and get the benefits, derive the benefits from. The Green Star Elite and the Slowstar, two of my favorite slow juicers on the planet. I always want to encourage you guys, if you haven't yet bought a juicer, to get a slow juicer. If you don't remember anything else from this talk, you want to remember that. The high-speed machines, they run at high speed. They're not effective at my favorite food on the whole planet to include in your diet, which is the leafy greens. And the slow juicers are. The slow juicers, in my opinion, also give you a higher nutrition content and a lot better for storage because the high-speed machines tend to separate the juice and the juice breaks down much quicker. This is especially important if you need to store them. And the final thing that we've learned today is that each juicer is a little bit different. Some are definitely better than others. The Green Star Elite, I mean, that pulp is sawdust dry. We could take the pulp out of this machine. And well, this is working pretty good, and this pulp's pretty dang dry. I mean, I could squeeze this, and we're squeezing out mostly pulp. I mean, I haven't seen a drip yet. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I'm not really getting any drips. I mean, it's still pretty efficient. But once again, this machine definitely going to work better on the fruits. So yes, who wants to try some of this delicious orange pineapple juice today? Look at that. All right. Made in the Slowstar juicer. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode that was shot here at the Natural Products Expo East 2014 on the Green Star Elite and the Slowstar juicer. As you guys learned, each juicer has their pros and cons, and I want to encourage you guys to check my other videos and subscribe to my YouTube channel to learn more about the Tribest products and the other juicers I recommend. Tribest is one of my favorite companies that I work with. They have a good solid warranty on the machines, 12-year warranty, 10-year warranty. They're definitely going to be around for many years to come. They've been in business for over 25 years now. To learn more or purchase them, be sure to visit discountjuicers.com and be sure to visit discountjuicers.com/YouTube for special promotional offers for YouTube visitors. All right, this is John Kohler with discountjuicers.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you. Probably thinking, John, where the heck are you? Well, I'm here in Baltimore, Maryland at the Natural Products Expo East.